right, let's talk about the backstory here about the growth of our team and just show you the numbers on the sheets, because the deal is you have to turn all of your energy and your dreams and everything into numbers. This is a follow-up, of course, to looking at the growth chart video and also to the 23 Fast Start recruiting rules. But just to review, it starts with you get it in your head what you want to do. And, what we all want to do is make something special happen in our life and turn it into income, make a difference, help people, feel like you're making a difference in the world. So you get a dream, you get an opportunity, then you go to work with your activity. And no matter what it is, when you're starting a new idea, you're going to be prospecting. And if you're trying to build a team, you're going to be prospecting for recruits. And then you turn that into where you're training people. And that's where you start to get your production numbers, because a byproduct of the training produces your first income. That's what you're training them to do. And then you get into the compounding phase. The reason you're going through these phases is the numbers are going up. And in the beginning, you are going to go through a ceiling here. Boop, 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 boop. You're going to see the numbers break through the level that you could do on your own as you move into the training phase. If you go into the training phase and you're still doing the numbers that you could do without anybody there, really recruiting training is not doing you any good. But you do the training to set the stage where you can move into the popcorn growth, the magic growth of the compounding. And so let's just see how that worked out for us. When I started, I was down here. I first got the idea in August of 1978. It's time for me to move, get on with my life. I'm going nowhere. I'm recruiting about 3 people a month. I got making about 9 sales a month. I've been doing the same thing for 2 or 3 years. It's time to move up. So I was a division. This is a trainee position at the time. And I wasn't even running my own office. And so that's where I was. I got my plans together in September of 78. This is where I had a lot of questions in my mind. And again, at this point, when you start thinking and planning everything, a lot of times your production just disappears. That's kind of what happened to me, because I was in an indecisive mode. You cannot be indecisive if you want to be doing numbers. You got to be, you got to be either here or there. And so I had to get this worked out in a hurry. So in October of 78, before I moved, here I am. I kind of get going again, got the recruits back on track. Got 12 sales, but I wasn't happy in Atlanta. I wasn't satisfied. So I was still planning, still making my move, and seeing what I was deciding, talking to people. And so in December, I had my plan. In November, we made our scouting trip. I was wrapping up things in Atlanta, and you see me starting still around 3 recruits because I wasn't going to stay in Atlanta. But my activity was back 14. And you notice this guy, Dennis Richards. See, in December, even leaving town, I was tracking ahead of the Dennis Richards. And then I moved. This is the guy who in the next year, the following year, he went out, he got a game plan and started doing some compounding, and he recruited 1,800 people the next year. I always believed when I saw this happening to him, I was happy for him, but I always felt like he was down in Houston. I felt like if Dennis could do it, I could do it, because I always beat Dennis. And so you have to make these decisions yourself. But even in a transition month, I felt like, I could compete. I wasn't a second-class citizen. And if Dennis was doing something, I could do it. Now, when I went up to North Carolina, I was just trying to get started. And the first 6 months, we floundered around. I think I recruited, 22, 25, 30 people. Yeah, probably about 25 people the first 6 months. But in June, we'd done some training, had people on board. I only had 4 recruits that month, but we had 22 sales because now I had some people on board to train. I had moved through that stage, that stage we talked about. See, I had my dream here, moved to North Carolina. I got involved in my prospecting activity. First 6 months prospecting. But now I had started to break through the barrier with the training, and it was starting to take off. This is where I was 6 months in June. Once you start stirring up activity, you find out it gets overwhelming. And so the next month in August, we did not have a great month because we had to follow up on the sales we made the month before. We weren't really we actually had some good recruiting, but get a load of this. This is the kind of kick in the butt motivation we had at that time. There was no sympathy. The fact I'd moved up there, no guaranteed income, wife, 2 kids to support, and struggling all alone, new pioneer operation. 2 months later, after June, I'm named National Turkey of the Month. Well, this is a great encouragement to Larry. And the only thing that kept me going is that we did have 10 recruits that month. Even though the sales were down to practically nothing, we did have some new blood. And that's what new blood does for you. If you keep the recruiting going, it keeps you focused on the future. So it didn't really matter they were giving me Turkey of the Month because I felt things would happen for us. So see, when you stay on track, good things can happen to you. And we finished up the year floundering, but got my game plan together. We launched out on our game plan of the 4-point game plan. Recruiting was the number one focus. In January, we had 7 recruits, and as you'll see on the charts, but by February, this thing shows we were up at 15 recruits. So this was the second month. See, what we'd show you before was 79. Now we were February, second month of 80. And because Dennis Richardson had gone out in Houston in 79, while I was recruiting 56 people for that entire year, Richardson was recruiting 1,800 out in Houston. And at the end of the year, we went to the company convention, picked their brains, put the missing pieces of the puzzle together and said, if Richardson can recruit 1,800, we can recruit 1,800. And so that became our new goal. Everybody thought we were out of our mind. Art Williams thought I was a lunatic, but I didn't care. I had it in my mind. We're going to do the same things they were doing, maybe a little bit better because we had a year's experience. We could learn from them. And so, but it starts slow. Once you get a dream, things start slow, but look at this. This is just like 6 months or something after the Turkey of the Month with a new game plan. Compounding just started. Look at this, 33 sales already because we were training. You get in the thing where we were down here, we had done our prospecting, we had done the training. Now we were getting into the fourth phase, which was the compounding was starting to kick in. It's a long way up to 33 sales from where we were. And so you got to keep your eye on the future and realize where you're headed. Keep your head down. It doesn't matter if they call you Turkey of the Month. It doesn't matter if the results are up and down. If you settle into your game plan, you stay with your game plan, eventually it won't take long before these things start to kick in. So now we're 1 month later, March of 80. I'm still a division manager, still a trainee. We're only up to 18 recruits. Now again, we had 7, 13, 18 recruits, like 31 recruits year to date for 1980. Goal for 1980 was 1,800 recruits. 31, the end of first quarter, anybody in their right mind would say there's no way that you can get 1,800 if you've only got 31 in your first 3 months, because there's only 9 months left. But see, anybody who says that doesn't understand compounding. Compounding, folks, compounding. See, I was looking to the future. Everybody we had in was thinking of compounding. So we were like 24, 18 recruits, 24 sales, but we were compounding. And again, I was having a gut check with myself too. Is this, do we have any chance? And, he said, we're going to stay with the game plan. So in the next month, we were up to 32 recruits. See, this is how compounding works. You stay on track. That 32 recruits in April doubled what we had done in the 3 months up to that. Now we're up to 38 recruits. And at the end of that thing, I went to the meeting, and then, there's stories about the historical big recruit at Big Canoe I had with Art Williams and Bob Turley. There's another video on that, and got some things about being money motivated, and did a little reorganization where we really turned in and focused on making the numbers happen rather than just hope the training and everything would kick in. We really focused on the training. We wouldn't take things for granted. We wouldn't lose the recruit. We would follow through with them. So what happened was in May, I'm up to 56 recruits. I almost doubled the recruiting again from 31, 32 up to 56. And look at the sales. So we were into compounding. We were getting better at managing the people, training the people, and so we were able to keep this going. So here's what happens. Month by month, things can change dramatically once you get into the compounding mode. So here we are, June, and in June, bam, 111 recruit, 58. The recruiting slowed down, 111 sales. And look how we were moving up. I was still at the trainee level, but we were moving up, weren't we? Did you notice how we've been moving up the charts? See, most people, even the people in front of you, they're not moving up. And if you're moving up, you can pass them. Once you start moving up, folks, you need to get ready to have some fun. You can go all the way to number one if you keep compounding. So things were crazy, of course, but look at this. It hadn't even been it was 10 months, the 10th month after I was Turkey of the Month, we're doing 111 sales. So July of 80, I got promoted to Regional Vice President. So here I am on the big boy chart. I started out at number 38 and we're at 105 sales. And now recruiting really took off. We had a little bit of a stall in June, and I challenged everybody and said, we're going to run out of gas because remember, our goal of 1,800, and if we stall out in June and July, we got to keep this thing compounding to do our 1,800 because 56, 58 recruits is great, even 157, great, but that's not going to allow us to get up to the 1,800. So they responded. What happened? They responded. Let's take a look at see where we were in September. 2 months later, in September of 1980, look how we're moving up. We're moving up. This is the big boy charts. 232 sales, 300 recruits. 2 months after I went to RVP, we promoted our first RVP. What I'd like to point out is in the previous month, in July, my first month as an RVP, I was paid $22,000. From April, I was at $3,000. In May, I was paid $6,000. In June, I was paid $11,000. And then in July, my RVP month, $22,000. And that's, the thing is, once you do more, they pay you more. Shocker. And so here I am, September of 1980. And also, we had the president of the company come up to our expansion operation. I had been there like 20 months, and we had 700 people out to a meeting. And when I moved up there, I didn't know a soul. And so we had gone from me and my little family, we had spread the word, we had duplicated, we had multiplied, not only done well ourselves, but now we create such a sensation in the community. 700 people came out. As a result, things kept clicking along. In October, we were up to, on the big boy chart, see, I'd promoted out my first regional vice president, so the numbers didn't show. I think we did about 400 combined there. But anyway, 188 still in the base shop. Base shop was still strong. December, we finished out in the number 4 slot, 241 sales, 156. You know how hard it is to find people in December? That's pretty darn hard. But 156 recruits, 241 sales. And in February, now we were really starting to take aim on the top spot in the company again. I'm still in my first few months as a regional vice president, but because we had compounding going for us, 180 recruits. Hey, February is a short month. Didn't slow us down. You got compounding going. It doesn't matter if you're in December, you're in February or whatever. 360 sales, folks. We were marching to number one. We wanted to find out if we were good enough. We wanted to find out how bad we wanted it. Were we a bunch of talkers? Or we somebody who, was serious and we could actually get there. We wanted to prove ourselves. And when you have the numbers, you can find out how good you are. All right, let's take a look at March. What happened the next month? Here we go. Well, we're continuing to stalk the number one guy. We're up to 434 sales, 236 recruits, folks. It's an adventure. It's fun. It's popcorn growth. It's magic. I mean, it was like 18 months. We were at Turkey of the Month for the company. So, folks, you can make your dreams happen, and it doesn't have to stop when you almost get to the top. Guess what? You can go all the way to the top, and by April, now again, I was promoted to regional vice president in July. By April, 538 sales, 192 recruits, folks. We were number one. You talk success breeds success. I mean, this set up the whole next 30 years of growth because we had a management team. This wasn't me doing it. This was a management team on the attack, unified, focused on recruiting, focused on the 4-point game plan. This just proves what can happen when you get a team working together, running a play. We were unified around the 4-point game plan. And again, on Weidel Academy, I got videos on that. It was a simple play. It wasn't just the play. It was the people running the play, making things happen for them. and the new recruits they got on board. It allowed them to be efficient, allowed the new people who came in to get productive and started making contributions as quickly as possible, and also getting established with their own teams. This is what happened to us. Wasn't like a 1 month thing. We were up number one and quit. In the next month, here's what happened the next month. Number one again, 581 sales, 365 recruits. Month after that, here we are. And again, I promoted out an RVP, and here's the RVP that I promoted. The RVP I promoted back out in September. He was at 272 sales, 120 recruits. I was at 383 in my base shop, 630 sales. We were number one. This is June. How much does that add up to? The combination. This was what our combo team was doing. We're over 500 recruits. We're over about 900 sales. Where did that come from? Because we were like working hard? No, we've gone beyond working hard and training hard to compounding. Folks, this is what compounding can do in your life. I look at the numbers of the growth of our team. And again, this was an era with no technology, no cell phones. We did everything off of fixed phones in our office and our house. No phone calling in the cars and out at restaurants. No computers to work with. No internet, no brochures. No, not even any faxes. We didn't use faxes, folks. But this shows you what is possible when you get focused on a real opportunity of integrity, a simple game plan to deliver, and you go out and add people to your team and train them as quickly as possible on what you know and get them independent. Folks, this is how it went for us. It's an example of how it can go for you. Who wants to do it big? Who wants to have some mind-blowing growth? This shows the growth that happened to us in those 3 years. It kept on going. And, I'm talking to you in 2015, just in commissions and overrides, it's generated for me $65 million in income. And just like in professional sports, people now today are getting paid multiples, 10 times what they were or more of what they used to get in the past. It's pretty much the same in our industry too. The result is this thing has continued to grow since 1981, and it set up a stage where I've been paid $65 million. We've had hundreds of people make $100,000 and above income. We've got 10 of them over $1 million a year income. We've got hundreds and hundreds of people to become millionaires themselves. Folks, these ideas work. And if you want to do something big with your life, take a look at it. What happened to us back then can happen to you. Do it big. Go look for the 23 Fast Start recruiting rules on WeidelAndWinning.com. Look for the videos related to that, the 4-point game plan videos. Why not do something big?